Hello everyone, Agion here with another Company Heroes 2 replay. Spawn on the south side as the austere forces. We have Lysol. Spawn on the north side as the Soviet player. We have What Doth Life. Looks like we're going to see a tier 1 build. Yeah, you can see conscripts being queued up. We don't see a second engineer into penals. On the south side, of course, we're going to see the infantry company. Nothing too crazy just yet. Going for MG42. Let's look at the doctrines. Let's see what's potentially can go on. We got guard rifles, combined arm tactics, a very well-rounded doctrine. Guard motor, a very well-rounded. Shock rifle frontline tactics. You get the IS-2. Not exactly does have good artillery, good some support. Shock troops not super great, but they can be effective. This map has a lot of good flanking approaches, so shock troops can do decently well. This bulletin is completely bugged. Last time I checked, it only affects the conscript grenade assault, not the AT grenade. And from the previous patch, I didn't think it got fixed. So, assuming this is the same way, look into it. It most likely is still bugged. And of course, we got Molotovs as well as AT mines. So it looks like it's definitely a conscript based play. Here we do got Lightning War, Storm Doctrine, and Jaeger Armor. Jaeger Armor not so much on this map. You don't have very good line of sights. This area is a bit choked with all these stoned headstones from the cemetery. And there's a whole lot of avenues where you can get some good flanks, but also what provides good flanks for me also provides a good amount of cover to prevent any circling around maneuver. You got these combat engineers supporting the conscripts at long range. Pioneers are trying to rush forward. Pioneers are absolute crap. They are, as well as combat engineers, absolute crap in combat. They're not like rear echelons will do decently well. Storm or Royal Engineers will do pretty good, and Storm Pioneers, of course, are actually a combat unit. Also got the conscripts roaring to get some heavy cover farther away. There is 4 windows here, so we do got substantial full firepower by the grenadiers. It's not going to be good engagement for the conscripts. We do got an austere mortar coming on out. Where is 7042 capturing up the fuel? In fact, the Soviet player didn't even took a second look at the fuel over here. I'm foregoing a very aggressive base play. He's getting out a 4th squad of conscripts, so hopefully we'll see some either G43s or Panzer Grenadiers. They'll be excellent for this position. Especially, let's see, he does have PPSHs in one of the doctrines, which could be a good for this play style. Austere Mortar really needs to get its weapon calibrated in order so it doesn't hit it's firing upon its teammates. You got the MG42 set up on this fuel point. No attempt, he's not even realized the austere player has it. And we got a complete collapse around this grenadier. The conscript providing, with the heavy cover, providing some good amount of defensive holding off position. But now, they're just way outgunned. He needs to start falling this guy back or stall till the MG42 can approach. We got the Pioneers here, not completely reinforced, but that was okay. You don't crap in combat anyways. He will actually get to the cut-off point, or into supply point for him, in order to get that fuel into his economy. This fuel point has been decaptured. 4 sets of grenadiers does provide, conscripts does provide a huge amount of fuel control. We do in fact have Molotov heading straight to the well, burning the water source for the village, but it will of course force away the grenadiers. I'm using cover anyways. There's these mortars way too far forward. The grenadiers are way outgunned. A rifle grenade may be a good idea. These grenadiers are very wounded. They're going to start dropping a whole lot of models. He needs to start falling it back now. When I see the guys low, when the guys start getting low, I try to get a med bunker as soon as possible so I can get healed up and not worry about any manpower bleed. G43s or MG42s are very important when versus heavy conscript based play. Of course, always good alternative is Panzer Grenadiers versus conscripts. They will just rip them apart. Cat right now is really close to me. Sorry, I see this cat in the side, my parents' cat in the corner of my eye, and you don't realize how a tiny thing moving around or your eye can be really distracting. Either way, we do have conscripts try to advance. We do got a Soviet mortar out, smoking out the MG. Very, very nice. Do we have Molotovs? Yes, we have Molotovs. No AT grenades yet. But yeah, we saw the Molotov being thrown earlier. Canceled the MG, the Molotov throw when realizing the MG's falling on back. MG just needs to start sprinting away. It's try setting up. It will definitely get flanked and surrounded, no problem. Let's see. Does he have tier 2? He does have battle phase 1, not tier 2. The Pioneers are falling back now. Maybe he'll get it. That's usually a mandatory thing for Austria to get, because at least for the AT gun. Don't care about any of the other vehicles needed, but the AT gun is actually quite important. MG42 does deploy at the wrong moment, however, and right when he was falling back. Molotov will come through upon this mortar team, and he will start falling back. He needs to get these grenadiers out of the building as well. In fact, he could have sniped that mortar, decreed that mortar, no problem, but apparently not. And he's taking massive amount of damage from being in this building for way too long. North side, just capturing some points. You have some good field capping. Against this very heavy conscript-based play, it can be a bit hard to deal with. The flamer on the Pioneers can help out for a bit, but if he's Panzer Grenadiers do a great job for conscripts. Because they do have massive close range damage, massive medium range damage, decent long range damage, enough, still stronger than conscripts at long range. So if they try getting close, they could die. Try to stay at far away, they die. We do in fact see a 2-2, another good potential option, though he still has to be very careful about any sort of mass AT grenades, because he's facing in a heavy conscript base play. You're going to expect AT grenades everywhere. We do have a mortar team set up a little bit too close to this concrete wall. If the trajectory of the mortar may actually force it to go way too high up instead of trying to go with the minimum low distance. So actually moving it back a little bit will actually help improve its accuracy. We'll actually do a counter mortar battery, very nice. Get some very good hits, very wounded, get a couple models. I'm not sure why I'm getting hit by so many lag spikes. I wonder if I have anything running I shouldn't have. Oculus, that may be what it's doing it. 8 minutes, 22. So, I did that out. Sorry about that. I just been getting some lag spikes. I think the Oculus Rift program was causing it. Since, of course, VR is a bit more strenuous than an average program. We do have still this Maxim inside this building. It has been spotted. It is slightly wounded. The mortar team could go and start barraging it, or at least just barraging the church. We do also have the doctrinal lock-in. The guard rifles combined arms tactics. In other words, you get KV-1s, guards, PPSHs, the M20, as well as a air loiter. You have a mortar team being reinforced set up there, but these grenadiers in a very, very good position. With the MG42, 2 stars of veterancy, it can start ripping apart because the veterancy 2 gains the accuracy bonus. This mortar team doesn't really want to be hit by that sort of fire. Pretty wounded. Do we even see a medic? No, we don't even see medics there. The heavy conscript-based play is really draining his manpower. You also have guards being called on in, but in actuality, well, the guards are pretty good versus the two with their PTRSs. He does have AT grenades, but he really does need medics. Nothing in the center is actually controlling the area. Everything he has back is at home reinforcing, so he is very strained on manpower. Those guards were just way too much. He needed manpower for healing and for reinforcing. Over here, we do in fact have a med bunker. Very nice, very nice. Mortar team is still alive. Looks like they did receive some shots and went back home to get healed. Overall, what doctrine do I choose here? The left 18, if his opponent does deploy some ML20s, left 18 will be a very good counter barrage option, plus a stupid dive bomb. And ambush training can do quite well. This is going to be a lot of cover in the central part of the map. Lightning War can be quite good. It's always good. The G43 is always reasonable. The Tiger Tank's always welcome. An AT strafe is always welcome. In fact, against this heavy composition, G43s may be a bit better than MG42s. But he did, in fact, get Panzer Grenadiers. Very, very nice. In fact, G43s and Panzer Grenadiers, people always think they're not that great, even with the balance update to improve them. They're actually really good. You get very good moving accuracy, as well as just even close range damage, while actually really increasing your long range damage. Oh, he loses the mortar, however. You do got suppression, so you won't be able to capture the mortar. So you can always recruit that, but a bit of a loss. The Grenadiers ripping apart those squads. MG42s right here. Guards over here. Guards without DP28s. Ooh, dead conscript. That conscript fell back that direction, not only through negative ground, but also the wrong direction. Needed to fall back this direction so he gets a better retreat path. I'm not sure why I keep on getting hit by these lag spikes. We do have a MG42 versus the guards. Guards are not enough munitions for grenades. What has he been spending his all his munitions on? A bunch of Molotovs? I'm just wondering where all the Soviet munitions went. Maybe the Austere player has been doing a good job of denying them, eventually. I'm not sure. I don't see any mines. There was a mine there, or was that a mortar shot? Looks like a mine. Did see a couple AT grenades out onto the 222, but I can't find any mines. You can actually, I'm sort of clicking, selecting, trying to highlight any of them, because you can mass select them. Have these MG42. The MG42 can start moving forward, engage these PPSHs, or you can go ahead and fall back in the house, a good hard point. May not be fully paying attention. But we do have the hit to dirt and decides to fall back nice and early. That is very reasonable. I do like that, just because it prevents any sort of manpower bleed, and he got a couple models for himself for a local engagement he was definitely going to lose. So he made the best usage out of that engagement, I would say. This building is not a good building for a Grenadier squad. Only one window to fire, only one window to camp. Right? Even though you see two windows, only one you can. Something just. You got the Panzer Grenadiers engaging conscripts behind their cover, but they did receive some Molotovs. They could stay and get maximum accuracy, get some many models, but he has sustained a huge amount of health damage. You can always slap a first aid kit onto that. heard T-70's out. We do have the T-70 out. This unit's very wounded, but he only loses one model, so that is fine. He will get plenty of bandages and blood infusions in order to get them back up to health. And we do also have the two most likely to be taken down. Yes, it was destroyed by the PTRSs. With the T-70 out, he was going to lose it sooner rather than later anyways. And the best way to deal with the T-70 is a teller mine. You do not have a combat engineer with a minesweeper, so a teller mine can be very good, assuming your opponent will overextend. The farther you push forward, the more chances it will hit it. Farther back, the more chances you have to hope your opponent will dive after, say, a squad, or lure it into him. There's two squads of guards, neither of them have any DPs. That's really a mandatory upgrade for the guards. You may see a grenade come out right there. That is a very deadly spot for a grenade. Tries to fall on back. This is the mortar team recruited by a grenadier squad, so he does have some good rifles protecting it. Managed to get a model, I believe, as well. T-70 now pushing forward to the MG42. Incendiary rounds are not effective versus T-70, but he still used them. You won't do all too much, as you can see here. Oh, and it's bugging out. You can see the incendiary rounds aren't doing a whole lot. They're just doing minimum damage. In fact, T-70 could easily wipe out that MG team if it would just stayed there and chase it down.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector.
I would say the AEC is probably the heaviest thing you want to use incendiary rounds on. You got a flamer team, staying out of the building is a good idea. A short-range rifle grenade could be very potent as well because it is very wounded. Of course, that means you're expending a lot of munitions. BSHs are currently sprinting forward. We do have these Panzer Grenadiers. Does force with the mortar, but needs to fall back now. This T-70 can still rip it apart on the way back. These Panzer Grenadiers will be fine. They probably not even drop additional model. We do have the Panzer IV now out. Prioritized fighter will be quite good at the moment, prevent any sort of problems as such. You got a penetrating hit just from the T-70, not by Zis. Panzer IV needs to have priority. There we go. And now the T-70 is going the wrong direction. Panzer IV can always cut through the corners, thanks to it mow down, push through these concrete walls. Do have a button. He finally got EPs, but he buttoned it, but moved and stopped the button. Wasting what? A huge amount of 40 munitions? Appears to be the mortar team has been wiped once again. Not exactly sure where. Oh, it looks like we've got an AT grenade definitely coming forth, and I'm getting more and more lag spikes. No AT grenade, but perhaps by this squad. There, the mortar team's actually right here. It looks like T-70 may have claimed it. Panzer IV will need to go back and repair up. He can actually sit right here and start poking in some shots. He hadn't seen a Zis yet, and Zis just is just now arriving onto the battlefield, and we'll actually grab the mortar team's mortar as well. It says that's a bit problematic. The Austere mortar is incredibly effective.
Supply sector under attack. Replacements have arrived.
Let's see, he has plenty of manpower for reinforcing. That's not a problem. He has Panzer Grenadiers engage most of his opposition. An Oswin, that it can be very effective versus his opposing composition. He's seen PPSHs, and that is the only doctrine that he had with PPSHs, which means if he remembers the starting load screen, he knows what doctrine he's facing against. which means he does not need to worry about an IS-2. Only have to worry about a KV-1 and artillery. Also, when sure it's not effective versus a KV-1, but it is effective versus the heavy infantry composition he's currently facing. He does not need to worry about getting another Panzer IV or a Stug in order to gauge an IS-2. We still do not have any tier 4 structure. He may be relying on mass artillery potentially. One would be quite good. He has plenty of fuel to pitch into our artillery unit. And without selecting a doctrine just yet, he has plenty of munitions for either Stuka Diabon or Stuka Loiter. He is a very Austria player. He's in a very good position. He has double cap in his favor, though that's going to be changing a bit soon. Tickets are relatively even. He has a choice. He has a very good composition, or may he not have enough. He does not have a whole lot of infantry in comparison. He does have two very effective anti-infantry vehicles. His opponent does have a good defensive force, but nothing to strike it and kill them off quickly. So play his units right, and he can do a very good job. He has not locked in a doctrine. I would say he does not have a whole lot of fuel at the moment for thinking about Tiger Tank. So the left 18 may be a better alternative. Ambush tactics can be always good as well, especially for Panzer Grenadiers versus his opposing composition. Able to get that first strike 50% accuracy for 4 seconds can be very lethal for any of the Grenadiers and Panzer Grenadiers. As well as the MG42, it can also be quick with some camouflage. Good versus these mortars, the mortar he knows his opponent has and the mortar he captured. Just make sure that you can just hold fire, able to prevent any, just help it reduce the automatic targeting of it. His opponent will have to force target it with a barrage. These Grenadiers are still not upgraded for MG42. I would say at this point in the game, it could be quite nice to have that item. And honestly, against his opponents in composition, he doesn't really need to worry about cover versus the conscripts. He can A move everywhere and do quite a bit of work because his opponent was forced to run up forward, which means he's going to run forward behind any cover, and cover only is really useful versus long-range units. At close range, I don't really worry about it all too often. You got these conscripts here, they're primed to be crushed. We'll go for the crush. There are a couple barricades there, but this is a very good angle to start with massive splash damage. You may actually lose this conscript squad. Conscript squad is now down. He wiped out 2 of the conscripts. Now that is a little bit of a blessing in disguise for the Soviet player. He has been manpower starved based on his heavy infantry composition. It netted him some good field control in the beginning, but the 2 guards he called in just puts too much drawl onto his manpower. So I arguably say that he actually needs to have field less infantry for the Soviet player. In a couple good hits, the mortar team's now down to the last 3 members. This has to fall back and reinforce it. Honestly, he's not facing versus any counter mortars at the moment. So 3 members is actually more than plenty. If you keep them far back, it'll help relieve your upkeep costs as well as your population. Do got a frag grenade coming forward, but nice dodge there. The one model is acting stupid. Actually, that's actually sort of a problem with squad spacing. Gotta maintain squad spacing, even though running away from grenade. I would generally say the squad spacing is quite nice to have. These Grenadiers would be very hard to dislodge, especially when there's a black mobile flak unit just engaging them. You have Ziz here as well as an AT grenade. Ziz will need to take 2 hits in to kill it off. It will be starting out of maximum range soon, but can always force fire the ground in order to, and he will actually get it. It looks like a force fire to me, and will actually kill the Ostwind. Very good pickup by the Soviet player, especially when he does not have any vehicle of his own. And that is a dedicated anti-infantry unit. It's actually a bit better to take out currently right now than the Panzer IV.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
Panzer Grenadiers are very wounded. He may want to throw a grenade and retreat out. And he hit the dirt. Hit the dirt was a horrible timing there. It prevented him from chasing down the Panzer Grenadiers. You have the Maxim inside the church. Holy Maxim. Holy Maxim. Oh, God. I don't know. Maxim's also like a rule or pledge. Wins in a church. Holy Maxim. Knowing his opponent's composition, he's not investing in the Pack 40, which so far that's been perfectly fine. But once he sees a KV-1, I'm assuming we're going to be seeing KV-1. Pack 40 will be quite necessary. A KV-1 will beat out Panzer IV in one-on-one combat. KV-1's very tanky, more armor, and a gun that's still not exactly great, but overall more than plenty to take Panzer IV. Molotov will come forward. A lot of Molotovs coming out, so we see a huge amount of munition expenditures. In fact, we got a 500 munitions now for the austere player. That's a little bit too high at this point. He has 2 pioneers, so he can lay down some mines. S-minefields would be great. His opponent has not gotten a minesweeper and could easily ward away some of these assaults that have been coming up. Teller mines could be... Planting teller mines right now actually can be quite devastating. Able to, if once his opponent hits them unknowingly because he hadn't seen any sort of mine play before, will have huge damage as well as damaged engines onto any vehicle that comes up. 400 damage, I believe they do. So that will one-shot any light vehicle. Not one-shot, but of course will do a significant amount of damage. Anything else. Hit the dirt there was a bit poor, I would say. He could have gone behind the head cover and makes him a little less... And the Panzer Grenadiers just walked away. Tried to get behind the head cover. At that point, I probably would have stayed there and fought. Get the bundle grenade, forcing him out. He has plenty of munitions now. He can spam out grenades, who do in fact have a Lightning War. Lightning War, the G43s would be great. Hopefully he does have them upgrading on the Grenadiers. Hopefully we do also see them on the Panzer Grenadiers. That would really make the Panzer Grenadiers very lethal. One reason why I'd say the G43s and Panzer Grenadiers is incredibly effective is how the veterancy work. The veterancy is designed around STGs, so they get a higher value just to make because of medium to closer range weapon. Mix in these longer range weapons, it really is it's a close range accuracy weapon. Veterancy for a long range weapon really does make them incredibly lethal. We do in fact have the Tiger tank deployed on out. We do also have the Pinto mount. Do we have the G43? No, we do not. Let's see. E-3476. I would assume there's going to be a KV-1. I guess not. This Tiger tank will be incredibly problematic. He has now definitely spotted the T-34. We also do have drop. Oh! And guards entirely. Did drop a P2RS. That's a good weapon for your Pioneer to pick it up. Not good for a Grenadier, or definitely not for a Panzer Grenadier. This Pioneer could pick it up, give him some way to pitch in, help protect tanks instead of repairing them. Do have this very nice body block, and this really did a number onto it. rotating with the gun, and will destroy the Panzer IV. Very overextended Panzer IV and very good body block by the T-34. Do have a air superiority run, which he instantly saw that. He instantly saw Tiger Tank start backing out anyways. In fact, not a single strafe came in, so I guess it will deny the T-34 from going in for quite some time. Tiger Tank has the same quite a bit of damage right now. I do have the T-34 now entering the fray. Is he going to ram it? A ram would be excellent at the moment. Tiger Tank was foolishly lost there. That Tiger Tank should not have gone down. I was getting a number of unlucky misses. Actually, he was getting some good hits on the assist. But thanks to the curvature of the land, it was not really getting any good hits, I would say. The land may have done something with it. At first I thought it was different when I first thought, but it did contribute. Pioneers are getting ripped apart and actually will lose them. A number of large throwaways. Almost seems like he's almost like AFK at the moment. Losing the Tiger Tank, he lost the Grenadier as well, the G43 Gren, as well as a Pioneer. He did get another MG42, he's getting a couple more Pack 40s. Really big loss. He does have a good amount of resources to get back in the game. He needs to evacuate this. Wait, this is not an MG42, this is a Maxim with a Panzer Grenadier that captured it. Decided to go ahead and just let the unit die inside the building. But the Austria player needs to take a breath, step back, gather up his forces, and go back on in. He has plenty of manpower for a second Panzer Grenadier. That would be a good option. You got a... Oh, that is a secure mode. I was thinking, why is it on hold fire? But it's actually on the secure mode. You got a mortar smoke coming on in. Very nice. However, it was thinking it was still inside the building. It is not. These Grenadiers, they need to be put on attack move more often. He knows he's facing against PPSHs. I know people say, oh, is your attack move noob? For Grenadiers, it's more of a priority. Just to, especially when facing against PPSHs, you want them to stop and fire immediately, no matter what range. You can always retreat them back if they're too close. If they can move forward when that maximum range, then you're just only helping out your opponent. We have this T-34 eyeing to flank around and circle around the Pack 40. The Pack 40 is not rotating around. We do have this Pack 40 moving to engage. Very, very nice. There goes one T-34. Panzerfaust will connect. This Pack 4 needs to rotate over. This other Pack 4 can go ahead and start it off. Of course, let's be very careful not running into any sort of infantry unit.
Enemy forces capturing supply sector.
He has spotted these combat engineers, so he most likely won't expect any conscripts in the nearby area. The Pack 40s are moving forward. One of them's heading towards over here. This one's heading over towards here. The T-34 is currently not moving, and it's in a bit of a unusual location, if he not fact that he was going to come up on onto it directly, you may have thought it would have got. Probably would have thought that he got away. And it's down to one sneeze away from death. And there we go. That the other T-34 is now down. Now these Pac-40s, I didn't realize it, but he needs to actually send them back home and keep them away from the reaches of the conscripts. Looks like we do have one conscript replaced. He did not decide to get a replacement for some guards. That probably would have been a better option. Because the guards do, of course, have better equipment, such as the PTRSs and the DPs. We do also have a fuel cache here. Interesting. I suppose he has a lot of manpower. That is actually quite reasonable. 2 fuel caches, actually. Anything more, I would say you probably use munitions caches, but he still has plenty of munitions. In fact, the entire engagement did not use his loiter. So right now, all of his opposing tanks are down. He has no uses for the super close air support. He should probably throw his munitions into tactical movement as well as relieved infantry. Having some Osttruppen can be quite good. There we go. We do got another squad of Panzer Grenadiers. And Osttruppen are pretty good just to hold the line. At the point, he's having trouble fighting the man spam of his opponent. And Osttruppen are fight decently well. They can just stick behind some cover and help protect an area. Either A, his opponent will just try to secure up a point, or B, was forced to attack the Osttruppen, protecting the point. Ooh. Will that go down? It will not. And oh, luckily he moved out of the way there. That mortar would have got a direct hit. We'll throw up on a grenade onto the guards. We'll get a good amount of damage in, but he needs to fall back. There's a whole lot of mortars, and he's severely wounded. But we do got 2 grenadiers here. One of them severely wounded. Actually, now, and this guy's being quite wounded as well. This Panzer Grenadier could go down. He retargeted too. It walks through the Molotov, runs through it. We'll actually escape up, but now the Pioneers turn to run, but doesn't have to fight through a gauntlet. But could still get picked off. Pioneers rushing forward, eyeing to flank this mortar group. The mortar group will go ahead and fall them back. This is the Soviet mortar. I'm not sure. I see a bunch of conscript models, but I can't remember if the weapon teams still use conscript models or not. No, these are. That was actually the Grenade Warfare, so those were actually conscripts. And having conscripts actually crew your actual weapon rather than the standard weapon team really does make a huge difference when defending. Actually, they become pretty good defenders.
We have taken it. We are losing territory.
We have another Tiger tank out, and SU-85, a good opposition to it, as well as support of the Zist and all the AT grenades, as well as a button. Panzer Grenadier already up to 7 kills. Managed to sort of reclaim a lot of the territory.
We have a new Su-85 to deploy. The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Su-85 is a good tank destroyer in order to gauge the Panzer IV. Freaking out. And do also have these conscripts engaging. They, of course, with their superior veterancy, really does pan out when engaging this low-vetted Panzer Grenadier. But they are severely wounded. In fact, these conscripts should go ahead and retreat back to get healed up. He's just going to lose a lot of manpower if he sends them into another engagement. We got a Molotov coming onto the Grenadiers. The Tiger tank is pitching in a bit of fire. Su-85 may be eyeing to engage the Tiger tank, but needs to make sure it stays at maximum range. There you go, it is at maximum range, so it can start picking away at it. The Zist is also moved forward and also pitching in some shots, double bounce in the front. And Tiger tank will be forced to fall back. After taking some wound, wounds. We do have this Pack 40. No target weak point. The target weak point could have stunned it and do some massive damage, but these Pack 40s are way too far. Especially this one, is a bit too overextended. Conscripts, however, are getting picked away by the Tiger tank. We do have some Pioneers for what you can call for support. We do have this Pioneer squad getting severely wounded. The Pack 40 team is crude. Nothing in the area is wanting to re-secure it. The combat engineers can, but they will lose the entire squad, so not exactly as desirable. And Pack 40 decides to go ahead and go to point blank in order to destroy the Pack 40, but he's may lose this one in the process as well. He needs to get his reinforcements to that area. We do have a nice little force here. Got some Grenadiers for Overwatch at the fuel point. Heads of Grenadiers with high veterancy ready to flank the Zis as well as the mortar team. Pioneers do need a hand in repairing. This guy is just been fully healed up. Ooh, a very good hit by the Tiger tank. And the guards tried to throw a grenade on those repairing units, but was a nice little fall those guys back in time in order to prevent them from getting wiped. We do have the Zis engage in the fuel cache, which has been adding quite a bit of fuel to his reserves. He can almost bring in an Oswin, which actually at this point in the game, I would say that's a good option. And that anti-infantry helpful. He only has to worry about Su-85, which Tiger tank can engage quite reasonably. The Oswin will just help pitch in all the anti-infantry damage. As Grenadiers will go ahead and force away the captured mortar. The Soviet mortar is behind this truck and the bush. As this is very low in health, he's actually going to run it down. He could get the squad wipe, just need to get one more model and gain some good hits, and all of the rifles are focusing. Assault rifles, yeah, so yeah, all rifles are focusing on that one model, and we'll actually decrew the unit. Could try throwing a bundle grenade in order to try to destroy it. I'm not sure if that will work. It's like it has like a chance to penetrate it pretty much in order to wipe it out. Guards grenade will come forward, but he does lose the combat engineer. The Panzer Grenadiers did sustain quite a bit of damage from the guards grenade, but barely managed to get out of there. He's pretty low in health. Tiger tank engaging the mortar at very close range, but Su-85 is on Overwatch. We'll actually secure up the Pack 40. That is a very powerful asset the Soviet player can have. 6-man Pack 40s are really good. We have a cap in favor of the Austria player. We only need a handful of points left.
The enemy has taken our supply sector.
Guards grenade will come forward. We'll win the Grenadiers. Potentially may see a button there. That's not true. Yeah, I think he was trying to focus down the Pioneers actually. AT-70? Okay. I would assume a Su-76 would be a better option if he was trying to go for something quick. I don't know.
We must hold the enemy. We are down to our last 20.
He already has plenty of anti-infantry when it comes to 2 guards and 3 conscripts. So I'm really questioning that T-70. An AA half-track. If one needed anti-infantry, an AA half-track would have been a much better option because he knows he has to deal with the Stuka Loiter. And it does have reasonable anti-infantry. So the A half-track can see, the SU-76 I could see, a T-34, it's a little bit more fuel, which all I had at the time, would be quite good, and that is the end of the replay. This is Agion saying thank you for watching, and signing off.